And one. Yo ho, hello there. Welcome along to episode 3 of the Academy of Shar. Whatever you're doing, stop it, Josh. Today I have playing with me Josh.
It's called voguing, first of all.
Is that what you're calling it?
Second of all. Hi, I'm Josh. I'll be playing Bartholomew. He is a conjuration wizard, and resident prankster.
Ooh. I have Jamal.
Hi guys, Jamal here playing Cadmus Goldenskin, a dragonborn transmutation wizard.
I have Kira.
Hello, I'm Kieran. I'll be playing Zaz, a lizard folk wizard from the School of Necromancy.
I have Laura.
Hi. Oh, sorry, I thought I was muted for a second.
So she'd forgotten who
I'm
you were.
Laura. I'm playing Aveltria. She is a half-elf evocation wizard.
And I have Matt.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm playing Ziggy, who is a illusion wizard, a force gnome.
That is. So, our story begins on Monday at 10 a.m. as you would all be gathering outside of the academy in the grounds where people are being split into 4 groups. There is a 5th group, but as far as I know, none of you are wanding. No? Okay. So the group who are going to be making wands, as opposed to staves or orbs, have grouped up a little bit of a separate place, as Shar is actually a boat trip away from where the wands are made. Nevertheless, for the rest of you, you will all need to partake in a journey. Standing at one side of the grounds, you see a large sign saying crystals. And below, above this, it says Gazella, which is the name of Ziggy's homeland. And you notice that there is a very short gnome who appears to be the leader of the group. He appears to be the person who's going to be dealing with taking them all to the land of Gazella. Nevertheless, it's not a teacher as far as you know, or if it is, it's not one you've met. And he's sort of got a very tall elven woman next to him who's who you have met. I believe you've met Grace, haven't you? Yes, you've met Grace now. Who's standing there, one arm raised, sort of calling people over. If you are partaking in crystalling, then you will need to head over there.
I will head
I
that
will
way.
do so.
It is now just the 2 of you, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you get over there, you see that there are a couple of other people here who you know. One is Hetty, our lovely halfling friend. And there is somebody who possibly some of you would recognize. I wonder if either of you... just give me a straight... I want a sort of renown check, but I'm going to go with intelligence, I guess. To see if this person is somebody you would recognize.
11.
12.
Yeah. You don't recognize this person directly, but what you do notice is that even the teacher defers to this gnome. And he sees you coming, and he sort of gives you a slight bow, and the group in front of him sort of part ways in the middle. And you realize that they're obviously from a different house to you guys. And in fact, they are all from the Balon house. But he looks over at you and he sort of, well, you must be from the Lagon house. Is that correct? The last group you were waiting on.
Yes.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name is Hatnamech, and at this point you would know that this is the heir to the throne of Gazellan. He's no slack. He's he's the heir to the throne of Gazellan, but like all gnomes in the royal family, he has come to do his studies first. And so it's going to be a pleasure to have you along with us.
Likewise.
At this moment, you hear a sort of crash on the floor behind you. And it's not just Hetty's backpack, but it's Hetty's backpack while she's walking with it. So she's packed so much stuff in the back of her bag that it's actually weighed her backwards, and she's currently
Hetty or Hedda?
Heta. Sorry, yes. I
She's
don't know
a
why I called her
halfling.
Hetty. Yeah. She is a halfling, right?
She's
Yeah,
a
cool.
gnome.
What?
You said
No,
Hetty
she's
the elf.
She's a halfling, definitely.
she's definitely a
Yeah, I
halfling.
thought she was a
She's
gnome.
always been a
Alright.
halfling.
Halfling.
Yeah, she's a halfling.
Yeah, I have a picture of her. Well, I know she's a halfling. I just thought she was called Hetty for some reason, but that's the name of Hoovers in this country. Anyway, so there she is on her backpack, struggling like a turtle that's being turned upside down. Just legs waving in the air, and Hetnemech sort of makes a gesture and then assists her up. And you must be Hedda. The Academy talks well of you. I've heard that you might be up for going over to Artificer's School. And she sort of looks up and, yep, that's me. And sort of just goes bright pink in the face and then attempts to like position herself behind Zas. She is sort of just wheedles this way, doing the skulky thing. And you see she's like taking her backpack off and she's trying to take like a couple of things out that she thinks she might not need. One of the things she pulls out her bag is like a crystal the size of her head.
What were you going to use that for?
We're going to examine. It's where all the arcane crystals are made. This is one of the oldest examples that I was able to get my hands on. I saved up for it for ages. It's got like magic imbued in it, and I thought maybe we might be able to use some of that magic in some of the creation of our arcane focus. Like maybe I could transfer some of the magic from inside that into. I shouldn't be bringing this, should I?
Slow down, Hedda.
I should leave it, shouldn't I?
You should.
No.
You
Oh,
going
yes,
to take it?
Of course. It's where it was born. Crystals like this, they don't just grow. They're birthed by incredible wizards and the magic they put back into the world.
Do you think this transferring of magic process could be done after the trip?
I don't know. I don't know anything about crystal magic. I've read so much, but well, we're not going to be making them, are we? I'll leave it behind.
I mean, not gonna hurt anything to have it.
She's
Unless you
sort
fall
of-
over again.
Yeah, she sort of
That's mostly
gestures
what I'm
towards the
concerned
floor and
That's
maybe
mostly
if
what I'm
I-
concerned about.
maybe instead I could. And then she sort of lugs out this massive leather-bound tome. Maybe I could take some lighter reading for the trip. And she sort of does something with the book. You don't actually know what, but it sort of slides into thin air, and disappears. And maybe we leave that one behind. Then she puts this huge crystal back in her backpack. She puts it back on. You see the whole sort of body just rocks a little backwards, and then she just leans over, like
Yeah,
determined.
I was
to-
Hedda, I'll carry that for you if you teach me how to do that trick you just did.
I can't. It's not something I can teach. And also, trust me, you don't want to carry this bag. She hasn't cast a spell. She's used an item. So yeah, she's not giving you it.
Rob her.
Yeah. The item, however, is clearly invisible. So you can assume that it was some sort of extra dimensional pouch. It just happened to be in the air. It was, yeah, a little trick. But unless Veltria has, yeah, I don't think you're going to be in a position to be carrying that pack any more than she is. Anyway, well, we'll be fine. I think they're starting the ritual to teleport us. Well, let's not be late. And as you sort of turn around, you notice that like everybody has walked off, and they're all gathering around the gnome who was at the center of the gathering, who was going to do the sort of transportation with Grace. And you will all need to stand in a circle and put your hands, not like you don't hold hands, it's not ring around the roses. You just need to be touching some part of the fabric of somebody else's sleeve, etc. So as you gather around in a circle, we will look over to Ziggy. Ziggy, you were looking for a circuit, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Fantastic. So, over here, you see that gathering you all for the circuit is the dwarf, Gallus. Gallus is sort of looking over to... Come round. Right. That's you, and that's you, and that's you, and that's you. You see, he's just sort of doing a head count. You see a couple of people who you don't necessarily recognize, but they seem to be a bit like you, misfits or singular people. Yes, you are with Grace, but Grace is not leading the expedition. you see that there are a few others, Ziggy, 3 others that aren't hanging around with a bunch of friends. This is the smallest of the groups. There's only about 14 students waiting right now. But what catches your eye is a fairy, probably more than anything else, who is floating sort of 3 or 4 foot above the ground, gliding around in circles. And he's got sort of windswept red hair, really freckled face, nub nose, and is moving quite frantically. Like, he's not just hovering, he's sort of like moving to him forwards and backwards. And standing either side of him is a halfling female, and an air genasi who is also floating slightly off the ground.
Sorry, I'm writing that down.
That's all right. I'm gonna give you
I'm
their
just gonna-
names for a second.
I'm just gonna walk over them and why are you freaking out? We're all gonna be okay. Talking to the fairy.
He looks at you and... I wouldn't say I'm freaking out. I'm just excited, you know? So much energy. I can't wait. I'm going to go inside a real dwarven citadel, you know? That's pretty cool, I think.
It is. Where are you from?
Me? I'm... Well, a long way from here. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to freeze the cameras. I'm from a long way from here. Land far to the east. Kalan, if you know it. But, yeah, I'm so excited. Calabar is... I mean, it's meant to be where they make all the finest dwarven pieces. Oh, look, there he goes. And you see that the dwarf is, has now constructed what appears to be on like a really wide tree. It's like the tree has been cut off, so it's just a stump. And on this stump, you see like a ring has been drawn, and there's like magical light coming from the stump. And one student has just been put on it and has just vanished into thin air.
I'm gonna go jump on it.
As you get there, he sort of whacks his hand out in front of you, and a sort of little shimmering of the light appears in front of you. And one at a time. You don't want to splice yourself, you know, unless you want to be half of someone else. Right, next one up. Go on then. You'd be Ziggy, right?
That is me.
Okay, well, we're going near to your homeland, so safe travel. And he sort of picks you up a little bit by the sort of back of your cloak and just sort of lobs you on. As you land, the magic sort of lights up and spins around you, and off you go. And we will move to Bartholomew. Bartholomew, you are going for the staff, are you not?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm currently like just stood around flicking a coin in the air, and then as it is turning in the air, it turns into a dice, and then as I throw the dice up, it turns back into a coin. Just doing
Nice.
that over.
Yeah, the group waiting for this is huge. There are, 20 or 30 students from every single class. But everybody is surrounding what looks to be 2 or 3 people at the very center. How tall is Bartholomew? And
How
anybody
tall
know
does
where
he
the
need to be?
music's from? Does anyone know where the music's from?
No, he's probably like 5'8".
Oh, okay.
Whatever
Yes.
I am, that's what he is.
So you can't see exactly what everybody's gathering around. Although you've seen this happen quite a lot in your own sort of common room and class and stuff. This is exactly what happens when the Lagon siblings come along. So it's probably somebody of import at the center.
Well, I'll summon Mido, my sprite, familiar, and I'll telepathically ask him to go and see what all the hubbub is about.
Can you hear through his ears as well as see through his eyes? Or is he just going to report back?
Just to tell me telepathically.
Right, okay. So he telepathically sort of reports, there's a very pretty looking pair of twins and a girl who's wearing a long dark blue dress that seems to shimmer in the light. She has expensive jewelry at her throat. Shall I steal it?
If you can.
He sort of goes to get close and oh, maybe not. There's so many people looking. They seem to be the center of attention.
You know you can go invisible, right?
That doesn't make the necklace disappear. We'll have to leave it for now.
Okay,
Anyway,
well, back to the void you go.
they're right next to the teacher, and yeah.
Hopefully, pirate.
Okay, but you do hear a little snatch of the conversation. As you just hear this very... It's an almost shrill voice that just says, you know, well, we're not all talking about our station, are we? Some of us just are here to learn. Though you two seem to see the need to show off at all moments.
Seeing how everyone's like all crowded around them and I'm a bit at the back, I'm just gonna throw... Wait, hold on. I'm just gonna throw a chair in the air. I'm just summon a chair, throw it in the air, and then as it's about to come like falling down on one of them, I'll like make it disappear.
And somebody turns to you and leans down to you and... Trickster, are you?
I'm sorry, what?
Trickster, are you?
I might be, if the coin's good.
Name's Fours. Pleasure to meet you. I'm an illusion wizard. This is a large furbolg. That's how we're spelling Fours. Yeah. This is a large furbolg wizard who seems to be leaning on a heavy staff that isn't necessarily an arcane focus. It's just, you know, he seems to be leaning on it. And he introduces an elf by his side, which is Gisette. And she's got bright blue hair. She sort of looks over and you, pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Elf, sorry.
Yeah, elf. She looks at you and pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Nice to meet you. What kind of wizard are you?
I'm the unfortunate kind. I don't belong to any school. Well, let me show you. And she pulls out a book, a spell book, and it looks you straight in the eye and just goes, "Hey there!"
Would I not know that this is Order of Scribes?
Yeah, you'd know.
Okay, you're an Order of Scribes wizard.
Yeah, well, you know, as they say, it's not intentional, and I don't get to belong to a particular school. There's no school class for Order of the Scribes, right? You've got Abjuration class, Conjuration class, Enchantment class, Divination class, and she's not special because she's special. At least that's how she sees it. Not to mention the thing never shuts up.
Well, I'm sure it's just as useful as any other school of magic.
Well, it does mean that I can learn a little bit more than most people can, but... Well...
See, there you go, looking on the bright side straight away.
Could be a lot brighter.
And I'll put my arms around all three, so that we're in like a little huddle.
Yeah, okay. Fours is 9 foot tall.
Well, then he'll get
You can put your arm around his hip.
Just to crouch down.
Yeah.
So, between us three, what's going on over there?
Well, we do have one more coming. He's gone to have a look. He's an illusionist. He, like Fours here, but he's a little bit tricky. Well, you'll see when he gets back. And sort of flashing back into sight is a Kalishtar, who appears to have a pair of wings, like little fairy wings, made of light attached to his back, and he dismisses them as he lands and turns to you and greetings. The name's Kagon Neferi. I see you've met my friends here. Which house are you from?
What's the name? Sorry.
Sorry, I'll copy it out. Which house are you from?
Conjuration wizard. And I'll conjure a chair.
Totally not what he's asking you, but cool. Which
said
house are you from?
Oh, which house?
Yeah.
Gryffindor, right? Yeah.
You're in the Lagon house, you know, like the Lagon siblings.
We're in the Lagon house. You know, like the Lagon siblings.
Oh, well, you'd know all about those two over there then. They've been causing a bit of trouble with Beatrice Johnston, you know, the princess. Well, everybody wants to have a word with the princess, but the Lagon siblings seem to think that they're just as important, because they've got a palace opposite. What a load of rubbish. Who cares where your parents are from or how rich they are? This is magic school. People care about how cool you are and how magical you are. At least that's what I care about. Besides, you said you're a conjuration wizard. It's pretty cool.
Sorry, do I know what race the princess is?
The princess is human. Beatrice Johnston is, of the human family, of the human nobles.
That was Kagan that just said that, right?
It was, yes. Kagon's a Kalishtar.
Yes. So, in response to that, you know what? You are absolutely right. And I'll walk straight through the crowd over to the princess.
Good luck with that. We will come back to you in a moment, because that is not going to be easy. And we will move over to Cadmus. Cadmus, you're in the shop for an orb, are you not?
Yep.
Okay. And standing at the center of a small group is Karina, the divination teacher, whose voice is not going to come to me straight away, so we'll get to her in a moment. But as you get over to the group, you notice that there's a few other people waiting, and you recognize immediately that two of these are from your own house. Bryson is there, as is Cassandra. And there are only 5 others waiting here. One is a blue gentleman, who is a... give me a nature check.
That's 12.
Yeah, you don't know, what race that is. You just know it's unusual.
Do I look like a fish?
No, not in the slightest. Just blue.
Okay, right.
Okay. And you see 2 human girls, or at least you think they're human, who appear to be sisters. One is younger than the other, though. And you see a rather large, gruff-looking gentleman who's almost 7 foot tall. And you see an 11, well, perhaps 10-foot giant who you know to be a Goliath.
Bloody hell. Okay.
And as you approach, they sort of make a little way, and Cassandra sort of cuttingly turns around and goes, "And here's His Majesty himself, the great Cadmus Goldenstein." Golden skin, right? I don't know. He's not as important as he looks. She sort of... Oh, hey there! I didn't see you coming!
Problem.
Don't worry, I'm just pulling you back. Come on. I don't know why the group's so small. Orbs are the coolest, I think. Have you seen them? Like, they float around you, and I'd think that Bryson sort of looks at you, and well, I personally wanted a staff, but was told by my father that it's just not original. So I have decided to join with the group that appeared the smallest. And you look over to Karina, who sort of, well, shall we make our way to where we need to be? I think a trip is in order, don't you?
Okay, so what do I need to do?
Nothing, child. You just walk through the waterfall. And with this, she leads you to a sort of bit of the clearing where the water begins to go out to sea, and there's a waterfall.
Excuse me, you said walk through the waterfall.
Well, she will gesture, and the Goliath will go first. And you do hear a name being called out here as she says Krung, which is like this. Krung, you first. Come on, show us how it's done. It's your homeland after all. And as he steps through, she looks to the rest of you and, I hope you wrap up warm. And Krung steps through the waterfall, and as he steps through, there's a sort of shimmering light, and he enters into what appears to be a portal.
Okay.
Girls, you next, you next. And then the two sisters walk through. This is Phaedra and Jade. And then she gestures towards Cassandra, and then Bryson, and then Krelsh was the name of the blue person. And finally she gestures to you. What is Cadmus wearing at this moment? You will have been told to dress up for the cold. Like, it's gonna be cold where you're going.
I would have probably just been in my sort of regular robes, really. Like,
Cool.
Dragonborn, like me, cold. Doesn't really seem to be much of a problem.
We'll see about that when you get through to the Northlands. As you take the step through, I will need a Constitution save first of all.
Okay. That's 22.
Yeah, you know that it's fucking freezing, but you just sort of shrug it off a little bit. But as you get through, you see Cassandra is huddling herself, and she is freezing. You see, like, her face is jittering, and she looks over at you. Oh my god! I thought 3 coats would be enough. This is absolutely freezing. Oh. And as she's sort of rubbing herself, Karina steps
Someone
through.
got something here flammable that someone can carry.
Probably not. But as Karina walks through, suddenly the air becomes immediately temperate. Sort of mid-20s Celsius. As you see, she's wearing like a dress, exactly what you see on the screen. She has a fur-lined cloak, but it's a fashion choice, not a necessity. And you see that she's currently holding onto a bracelet at her wrist. She's sort of minorly focusing on that. Well, come on then, children. We don't have all day.
Is that bracelet the thing that's doing that here?
Doing what, child?
Making it warmer here.
Ah, yeah. Well, you don't want to enter the Garrick Northlands without a bit of protection for the cold air. Have you seen how cold it is out there? Anyway, and we're going to a frozen lake. Can't be going there if you're not prepared. It's a simple piece of magic, really. Anyway, come along. And she sort of gestures over to where you see there's a snowy path going down, and Grung is sort of stepping along with his staff quite confidently. As you are walking through the frozen Garrick Northlands towards a frozen lake. And as you make your way there, we shall move over to Aveltri and Zas. Aveltri and Zas, you were going to join hands to enter Gazellen, is that correct?
I ain't joining anybody's hand, but I'll put a hand on a shoulder.
Yeah, you just need to grab any bit of fabric or anything. You sort of reach your right hand out, and the person whose hand or arm or shoulder you will grab is she really called Heta? I'm sure she's called Hetty. She's Hetty in all my notes. Why is she in Heta all this time? Anyway, the person who you grab is Gavrilt. Gavrilt probably will have introduced himself by name at some point. Let me just grab that for you. Gavrilt here, and he is a tabaxi of the sort of tribal variety. So he's tan-colored, yellow-colored, basically. And he's wearing quite fine cloaks and looks quite rich. Yeah, as you grab him and Zas obviously you grab Aveltri and Heta. You sort of go through, and when you get through, you see that you arrive into a strange land. This land is sort of, the ground itself is an orangey red, like broken up rocks. Cracked land. It's not dry though. You do see that there are bits of greenery growing through. It's like a fertile desert, if you like, an unusual colored soil. And you will already have noticed, sort of 20 foot to your right, there is a huge crystal growing out the ground. I mean, huge, perhaps 110 foot tall, 120 foot tall, and it is sort of pink in shape, pink in color, and oval in shape with a point to the top. And you see it's multifaceted. You see a couple of cacti and some unusual plants. I'm assuming neither of you would have been to Gazellum before.
Can I possibly take samples of it? I have a herbalism kit on me.
The plant in question is way too tall for you to take a sample from. I say plant, but its stalk is sort of 30 foot tall, and at the top is a bush of purple. But there are other plants you would be able to take samples of. Aveltria, you are human?
Half elf.
Half elf. Were you born? Did you grow up with your elven parents, or your human parent?
Both.
Both. Oh. In that case, probably not in Veralia, in the land of the elves, because no human is going to be living there anytime soon. So yeah, neither one of you would have been to Gazellan before, so some of this will be completely alien to you. As you see these mushrooms, they're sort of 8 or 9 foot in height, and they're super wide, sort of 12 or 13 foot perhaps. And they're of all sort of multicolored swirling, so they're pale blue, dark red, swirled round, and magic permeates the air here. This is where the gnomes grew up, and you know that this is where Ziggy grew up. He's probably described a few of these things to you before. As you pass the mushrooms, Zas, give me a dexterity check plus your proficiency modifier, please. For an ability check.
12.
12. All right, you take some scrapings of the mushroom, but probably not the best samples you're going to get. But you're in a hurry. You've at least got some samples that make sense. Grace stops at this particular moment, and she gestures towards the gnome she's with. And you see that the royal gnome, Hatnamech, has gone down to one knee and bows his head. And the gnome sort of turns reverently to gesture towards what appears to be a garden of some sort. But there are no plants here, only crystals. Each of these crystals is just growing. They are perhaps 6 inches in height at the most, some of them only 2 or 3, and they're scattered all over the place. And the gnome finally begins to talk. He says, well, so come we to the great crystal garden of Gazellan. For many years, magic has been fed into the earth by our artificers, our sorcerers, and our wizards. Great experimenters, great magicians, all alike. We worship the earth of Gazellan, and the earth gives back unto us. Please, tread carefully, and wait your turn before picking your crystal. One may already be calling to you, but I please bid you for patience. Otherwise, you may disrupt the magical current in the ground, and damage some very precious goods. I have a list here. And the first person I would like to come forward is Alvis. Alvis, please. Alvis is obviously the one with the name that started with the earliest letter in the alphabet. So judging by that you imagine you're going to be in for a long wait. Nevertheless, we will watch Alvis as he steps up before the teacher. Sorry, I'm having to change what my notes are. And he looks over at these crystals, and this sort of teacher, he hasn't introduced himself by name, but at this point, somebody near you will just sort of whisper to you. Old Master Okar is, well, he's one of the greatest artificers of our time. What he can do with magic is absolutely incredible. You will see he talks to Alvis, and you can hear this like it's being broadcast around. He touches his finger to his throat as he speaks, and when Alvis speaks back, he sort of puts his finger to Alvis's throat instead, allowing everybody to hear this conversation, because although it is a private matter, it's also a learning experience, right? And learning experiences are to be cherished in the academy. So, as he goes to lead Alvis through the steps of the creation of an arcane focus of crystal, you can see the first thing he tells Alvis to do is to go out amongst the crystals and pick one that is right for him. And at this point, I'm going to give you a choice of colors to ponder while we move on to the next person. Let me just get the right channel. Academy, 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 Academy. Those are the colors of crystal that will be available to you. And so we will move on to Ziggy. Ziggy. As you were... Hold on, Ziggy is going to the circle. Ah, yes. Ziggy, you are led to... you arrive on this strange sort of stone platform. The first thing you'll notice is you're underground. That's a pretty straightforward one. And before you are furnaces, forges, and there are a lot of dwarves. You are in Kolobar, which is in Gazellan. You probably know of this place. It's not far from Kirik, which is where you grew up. But you would never have been inside, that's for sure. And as you sort of look around, the first thing that you notice is the heat of the forges. Give me a con save, please. Let's see how this heat affects you.
Hmm. 15.
Yeah, cool. It's hot, but you can manage. You feel a little bit lightheaded at first, but you quickly stave off the effects, and you notice that the smoke is being pushed up in huge bellows. I mean, we're talking sort of 30 or 40-foot wide bellows that are being pressed together by some sort of contraption. You see there's a dwarf turning a handle that's bringing these two parts of the bellows together with pulleys, but that's probably not what Ziggy's interested in. What Ziggy will be interested in is that from the ceiling, in a large vat, is being dripped down a long tunnel molten gold. And that's pretty cool. And as you hear a voice behind you, who begins to talk. And Gallus sort of steps up, and he puts a foot on the side of like the forge, one of the smaller forges, where one of the blacksmiths is working. The creation of a circlet is no simple thing. It is part magic, but it's also part craftsmanship. And as I'm sure none of you are accomplished craftsmen, as I don't see any dwarfs before me, then you will need the aid of one of these fine masters here to assist you in the process. Now, you can choose the material for your circlet. They don't all have to be metal. We do work with wood here too, And after that, once you have selected your material, I'd like you to approach one of the blacksmiths and talk to them, please. I'll put these options in the channel as well for you, but he looks over at you and says, you may choose copper, steel, black metal, mahogany, rosewood, ash, or bone. And he sort of says this bone with a taste in his mouth, a sort of dismissive way of saying it that I didn't manage to achieve, where it's sort of, or bone, not a good thing. But at least one person's eyebrows raise up at this moment. As you're sort of waiting here, the fairy and the genasi that were next to you turn to you and just like, what are you going to get? I'm getting gold, and says the fairy. And then the genasi turns around. Oh no, rosewood all the way. Something elegant, something made proper. What about you? Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
I'm Ziggy. And I liked the idea of the gold because maybe we can sell it for a lot more gold.
You can't sell your arcane focus. It's attuned to you.
But it's gold.
Not once it's made. It's pure magic. Besides, who would buy something that you could summon back with a mere thought? Goodness me, how did you even pass any of your lessons?
You're not as good at me as being a wizard.
The halfling turns around and sort of, hey, be nice. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people, we didn't all grow up rich. Not like you two. Hell.
I didn't grow up rich.
No, he's sort of pointing out the fairy and the genasi grew up rich. See, I too would think about a gold to sell, but I think given that it's magical and it's mine, I really like the color copper. What do you think, Ziggy? Is copper cheap? Does it look rubbish?
I think it looks great. I'm lying.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask for a deception check. She doesn't give a shit. Oh, thanks. Oh, hey, we've got to go and choose. And what you see is on the table are, sort of, there's I say table, it's a massive stone slab, right? And on this stone slab are like counters of each different material. So you can pick up a single counter of wood or copper or like any particular wood. I'm assuming Ziggy probably doesn't know which wood is which, but he would know what he finds pretty. So as a player, obviously, you can do some Googling and have a little look, and I'll leave you making that choice as we move over to Bartholomew. Bartholomew, you were trying to shoulder your way through the crowd. Weirdly, I'm going to ask you for a stealth check and an athletics check. That'll be our combined way of working out if you can make your way through this crowd. Because there's a couple of ways of doing this.
Okay, athletics is 15.
Yeah, okay. So you're definitely able to shoulder them through. Are you able to be a bit more polite about it? Let's find out.
Okay, let's see. Okay, that's a 16.
Cool. Yeah, you You can't get that close because there are a lot of people crowding around them, and some of them are a lot bigger than you. But you can get close enough that you can now see that there is the princess with very rich jewels at her throat and a beautiful dress, looking quite demure with a couple of hangers on like next to her, both girls. And then the Lagon siblings have turned out in their absolute finery. You've got one of them wearing like a floor-length black gown, totally impractical. You know, stunning diamonds at her throat and at her wrists and in her hair. And the gentleman is turned out in a full bull suit. It's ridiculous for this sort of trip.
You said I could see them. I'm not close to them.
30
right?
foot?
Yeah. From this, I'm just gonna be like, hey, Beatrice, over here. I'm your biggest fan. Woo.
She looks over at you. Points her finger at you gently. And there's no need to shout. You're making a fool of yourself. I don't know you, do I?
Not yet.
She gives a little smile at your audacity, but she turns away. And she, you are making a staff, is that correct?
Indeed, I am.
Excellent. Okay. So you will be stepping into what appears to be a mirror. That's just freestanding in the middle of the outside, and lots of people are going through, and that is where she has just stepped through. You see her clingers on follow through, and soon after you are able to step through, and you are stepping through into the world of Auralia. But you're stepping forward into the center of a city called Serendellan. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry. Let me just get this. Different page. Come on, where have I put it? Here we go. Serendellan is a stunning city that stands amid the ancient trees of the Moonwoods, where the Moon Elves once grew up. It's sort of the gem of Auralia. It is full of incredible architecture where people vie to make the most beautiful of buildings, the most elegant of spires. Buildings tower up above you, miles up into the air, and you see stained glass windows and magnificent colors everywhere. You notice that there's a lot of magic going into the streets. There's no typically in a city you'd see a gutter line outside the houses. There's none of that, so you'd assume that it has like one of these newfangled magical sewer systems. And you notice a lot of sort of temples and places of nature as well. Lots of trees and free-flowing flowers and such growing everywhere.
Can I try and walk next to the princess?
Yeah, as you sort of rush to get to the front, where Vanya is leading the group. There are two people on this mission, not one. The other being Hadras, if you remember him. Hadras is our faceless gentleman. But we'll stick with Vanya for now, because Vanya's at the front, and Vanya sort of looks around to all of you, and each of you hear this quite clearly as, right, I'll need you now all to step in line. This is going to be a long wait, but you will need to go and see the makers soon. So please, I want you to think on the following. Think about the material you want your staff to be. Think about the aesthetic you want, the way you want it to look. This is important. It will be something that you hold on to for a long time. Some of you may have an affinity to a certain type of magic. Think about that as well. And think about, you know, how practical you want it. And, well, anyway, I'm sure you all have something in mind. Now, first through to the makers. And she gestures to one of the handmaidens of Beatrice, Jorston. As you get to this point, you're going to have to step past the Lagon siblings to speak to Beatrice. Is that something that Bart would do?
No, I'll just like, if we're all stood in a line, I'll like poke my head out and I'll be like, psst, Beatrice.
My dice is being very kind to you. She looks over and... Excuse me. She walks over, and you know, even in her walk, you notice that she is like the pinnacle of nobility. You know, this walk is perfect. The dress is sort of knee length. It's not anything too major, but she wears skirts underneath, and she has, you know, very practical boots on. She turns to you. Yes, may I help you?
So, what kind of magic school do you favor?
Well, I think I favour the art of divination, but unfortunately I don't have a talent for it. The school that most speaks with me is enchantment. I suppose it is... Well, it comes with the job, you know.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. What kind of staff? What do you want your staff to look like?
Oh dear, you really aren't very educated in these things, are you? Those of us who are
Well-
royals, we don't get a choice.
Why? But you're a princess.
Yes.
Surely can't you just command it so?
No, it will be a gold staff, as they always are. And it will have a ruby in the centre, as it always does, and it'll be in the shape of the Jawston crown, which only the royals can get. And of course it will have a rose clasp, and it will have a grip that is, you know, made of leather bindings and deep red sashed material, and at the base it will stand on a three-prong with a round embellishment, with the letter J embellished into it for Jawston. It will accentuate itself with fire and a silver shine, and at its core it will also have the ruby. That is how staves have looked in the royal family since we first came into our magics, 604 years ago. But if it were my choice, I'd have a wooden one. Now, I don't think I caught your name.
Oh, my name's Bartholomew. You can call me Bart. All my friends do.
Do you not have a family name?
My family name is Amos, and as he says that, kind of like
Oh.
she basically looks away.
She sort of at this point begins to look at you in a completely different light, like you're actually relevant. It wasn't that she was dismissing you, because she's quite non-judgmental and like doesn't see like hierarchy and stuff, but she's been trained from birth to like the nobles and whatever, so she has to recognize like, immediately. You can see in her head she's going, right, who are your political standpoints, who does your family support, and at that particular moment, before she's even got on to like who your family crest is, the Amos family are quite diligent in their search for riches, are they not?
Yeah, they do. My mum and dad do very good for themselves.
Rumor says they'll put money before anything. Oh, I apologize. I believe it's my turn. And with that, she has to turn. And she just sort of... She gives you a little smile as she goes. She's quite pleased that somebody's come and spoke to her as, like, a person, not a hanger-on. But she enters into the makers. And I will leave you with a choice of metals, as I...
As she walks away, I'm just gonna tap whichever of the brother and sisters directly in front of me.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna, if they turn around.
Yes,
I was
Matthias looks around at you. Can
yeah,
we help you?
I'm gonna make her my wife.
I see.
By the way, nice outfit. Those shoes look uncomfortable. Would you like a seat? And I'll summon a chair behind him.
He makes a gesture with his hand, and the most grand-looking plush, like, single-person armchair with sort of rich black mahogany appears underneath him, and he sits down on it and looks at you as if to say, "You incompetent fool."
What level is he?
Same as you.
That
just
can't
got
be true
taste.
because the cantrip.
Oh, I said it was a cantrip. He's the type to
Alright,
waste frivolous
well.
magic on this.
I don't care. I talked to the princess. He didn't.
He spent the whole morning speaking to Princess, but that's fine.
But not in the
Anyway,
same way.
the second lot of options from copper downwards in the Academy channel is the materials you'll get the choice of. This is copper, steel, black metal, mahogany, rosewood, ash, and bone. Cool. And we shall move on to Cadmus Goldenskin. Cadmus.
Yeah?
You have made your way up to the frozen lake. And we return to our lovely lady Karina. Oh, get off the screen. And Karina sort of looks at you. Well, I think it's time we all made some choices, don't you? Now, well, do any of you know of the process of garnering an orb from the frozen lake? No, I didn't think so. Well, let me teach you. So first of all, we're going to step up to the frozen lake, and we're going to picture in our mind the type of orbs that we would desire. Yeah, same thing. What's you? Same, it's fine, it makes no difference to me. She looks at you and, now of course, all of these orbs will, at base, be made of glass. It's up to you if it is glass, misted glass, black glass, or if it is a glass made of crystal, or perhaps you wish yours embellished with metal. When you're thinking of this, just come down to me, and we will call it forth from the lake. First of all, we have Cadmus Goldenskin. And Cadmus, you are the earliest letter of the alphabet, so you will have the following choices given to you. Glass, misted glass, black glass, crystal glass. And when it says metal, imagine it's sort of veined metal, like sort of 8 lines of metal holding glass together. It's still got glass around it for you to see through.
Right, and that is in Shar. Right, okay.
Mhm.
So yeah,
That's like the
I was
base
thinking-
material of it.
Yeah, so I was thinking the metal one anyway, and I was thinking specifically if I could sort of having it as either gold or like layered.
The metal will be black.
Oh, okay. Can it not be layered with gold on top of it then, or is it? Just
If the
black?
metal isn't
No.
black, it won't hold the glass.
Right. Okay, so it can't be covered. Can't be coated.
No, not at all.
Right. Okay then.
But
so-
you'll see why in a second.
That's fair,
So this
that's
is the
fair.
base. So you get these sort of, you imagine it's an 8-point sphere holding panels of glass. And as you explain this stuff.
Can it be spiraled round, or does it have to be?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
straight
they can be spiraled instead.
lines? Yeah.
And she holds your hand and then places it upon frozen ice and bids you call it forth. And inside this orb, well, you must decide what element it contains. You may perhaps picture it holding a flame of red, a flame of black, a flame of white, or perhaps it has lightning in it. Or perhaps the waves of the sea, or a tornado itself, or a storm of rocks. Those are the choices I know of. What will it be, Mr. Goldenskin?
Okay. So what are the options for flame?
Standard flame, like an orangey yellow like piece of fire, or black fire or white flame. Black fire and white flame are like actual magical things, so black fire is like it's black fire. That's the only way I can explain it. Like it has a darkness inside it, even though it lights up a little bit. And white flame is the complete opposite. It's like white and pale blue. It's like that super hot flame, you know.
Yeah, I'll go with that then. I like
Okay,
that.
beautiful. And with that, she explains to you that at this point you will need to have a small chain dangling down from it. This chain can be used to hold the orb to secure it to something, or it's just used for embellishment. And this is where you will have a choice of certain metals, or perhaps a chain of flame itself. And with that, we will leave you there and move back to Zas and Eveltria. Zas and Eveltria, we get to Eveltria fairly early on. Eveltria, you are called forth, and they ask you a series of questions. The gnome looks at you, and you say he's getting tired already, and he's got a long, long way to go. Does a particular... Nope, wrong person, sorry. Does a particular crystal call out to you?
I would very much like that one. I pointed at deep red.
Okay. As you head over to the deep red crystal, you notice it has veining on it. So, little tiny sort of veins, a bit like blood vessels that appear within the crystal. But what color are they? Are they silver, gold, bronze, black, blood red, or pale blue? I imagine they're not blood red, or you wouldn't be able to see them. But yeah. For reference, I'm always putting these options in the Academy of Shar channel for you guys, because obviously you can't take it all in one go.
Silver.
Silver. Excellent. And as you take this crystal from the ground, as you are encouraged to take this crystal from the ground, as you lift it, it will begin to swirl with a certain effect. This could be fire, ice, mist, or perhaps a gold or a blue or a silver or a black shining. What happens to the crystal as you lift it out the ground? What colour does it swirl?
Silver shine.
Beautiful. And as it does this silver shine, and the silver shine sort of comes and goes, you notice when it goes that the deep red of the crystal is see-through. At the very center of the... Oh my goodness, how have I done that? Let me just delete that message. And at the very center of the crystal is something else. Is it a flame of red, white, or black? A diamond? A piece of rock? A piece of ice? Or is it water that sits at the very center of this crystal?
I think I would go with. Oh man.
Hmm.
Black fire.
Black fire, I like it. And as you take this crystal and you notice that the black fire is coming from it, he gestures for you to head over and talk to the Maker. The Maker is somebody in charge of a large team of gnomes who will set this if you wish. This crystal can be set into a necklace, a bracelet, a ring, although it will be, most crystals are a little large for that. It can be set in a belt, or it can float around you. This is totally up to you. And the options are there.
I was totally gonna go for the bracelet until you said it could float.
Bear in mind that if it is floating, you can dismiss it with free action and recall it with a free action, but it must be floating around you when you're casting spells. If it's at your wrist, obviously you can conceal it. The entire wristband will be able to go invisible and be called back into existence as a free action, but it must be visible when you cast.
I'm gonna go with the wristband.
Okay, beautiful. And would you like that wristband in gold, silver, copper, black metal, rosewood, ash, bone, or mahogany? As I will almost close Discord. That would have gone well, wouldn't it? Just X out of Discord mid-choice. Those are your options for settings, and none of them will cost you anything. This is part of your fees of the Academy. Who would have thought, Zas, that the alphabet would let you have more time to think? Yeah, okay, fantastic. So as you take your dark red crystal that sort of swirls with a gold shine, and at the very center of it is a black fire, you ask for it to be set into a golden wristband? No, black metal wristband. Bracelet. I don't know why I called it a wristband in chat, like it was something you'd use to get into a nightclub. But anyway, and you request that this setting is done. And it will be done so. A series of names go on and on and on. At one point, you notice that the royal gnome, Hatnamech, calls a crystal out of the ground that looked like it was a lot smaller than it is. And he has quite a large sort of black crystal floating around him by the end of it. But finally, last but not least, we come to Zas. Zas.
Yes.
Please, go and find the crystal that's most suited to you. The choices were silver. Nope. The choices were... Yeah, they were. Silver, gold, bronze, black, blood red, pale blue. That can't be the right list. Sorry, let me just double check that. Have I really... yeah, no. Transparent, deep red, pale orange,
red,
pale yellow.
orange, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I put those in a while ago, didn't I? Yeah.
I'll step forward and then I'll close my eyes, and most of my magic is based on feeling and understanding, so I'll let my Let my feelings just kind of stretch outwards. I'll look toward a transparent crystal.
Excellent. This is most of the transparent crystals are a little larger than your normal crystals. Not a huge amount, you know. I'm not talking like it's a big brick, but it's definitely a tiny little bit larger. As you pull it out, you notice it has veining on it. Is this veining silver, gold, bronze, black, blood red, or pale blue?
It is gold.
Excellent. And as you take it in your hand, you feel the magic of the crystal swirl around it. What color does it swirl? Fire, ice, mist, gold shine, blue shine, silver shine, or black shine?
It's a mist.
It's a mist. Beautiful. Sort of silvery mist? Is that what we're thinking? Like silvery, pale, white mist, like actual mist. Yeah. Fantastic. And as these mists part, you notice that there's something at the very center of it. What is at the very center of this crystal?
Water.
Water. And as you take this beautiful, translucent crystal, veined with gold, swirling with mist, and at the very center, full of water, you may take it to the maker if you wish and have it set. Do you wish to have it set, or will it be floating?
I'll have it set, but I wanted to know, instead of the necklace, can it just be a regular chain? I want to use it like a rosary.
That's sort of it's. They will give you a choice of neck bands if you like, and you may set it in any of those. It doesn't have to be like a pretty little delicate necklace. The crystal's too big for that anyway.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And what material would that necklace be?
Bone.
Bone. Fitting. Beautiful. I like it. And you'll notice that the makers, they use tools to sort of measure your crystal, but they never touch it. Even at the moment they're going to set it, they eventually hold out this necklace of bone to you. And the setting you'll notice is bone with just an ever so slight piece of black metal inside, which should be invisible once the gem's in, and they will ask you to place the gem within it. That crystal is bound to you forever now. And as you place it in, it fits like it's being slid inwards. And it fits perfectly. And at that moment, we will take a short break. Sorry, Ziggy. Hello, and welcome back to the second half of the Academy of Shar. So, we resume with Ziggy. Ziggy, you find yourself in the Hall of the Makers, a stone slab table before you, and you were offered counters of certain materials. Let me just go to that bit. Did you choose copper, steel, black metal, mahogany, rosewood, ashole? That's not right at all. Where's gold? I've given you the wrong options. Sorry.
Copper through bone.
Yeah, it's gold and silver are 2 options, and there's no steel.
Hmm.
And copper is bronze. Sorry, I don't know how I did that.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, that's
Where do you get the bone from?
good question. The gnome, yeah, sure, why not? Fuck it, let's just use a gnome. The dwarf explains that the bones are taken from the bones of ancient dead dragons.
That changes a lot. But I don't want any bones on me. I would get wood, but I don't want to get any splinters, so I'm gonna choose silver.
Excellent. Okay. As you select a small silver token from the table and you walk over to the maker, the maker will open a small wooden box and offer you a choice of jewels that will be set in the center. So what you will get is 1 large setting and 2 small settings. That is this traditional look. For your large gem, would you like ruby, emerald, diamond, sapphire, black pearl, topaz, or aquamarine?
Ooh, I want a
Red,
nice old
green, blue, yellow.
diamond. I want a diamond.
Okay, a diamond, and for your 2 side settings? We've got 1 diamond at the center. What are we putting either side of it?
A sapphire on the left.
Okay, it need to be 2 of the same, by the way.
Oh.
Do you want to go with sapphires?
And also a sapphire on the right.
Thank you very much. Beautiful. The maker sort of looks at you. Okay. And we have a few designs of how, how the gems are clasped. Would you like these as twisted curls? So that's like a sort of, a bit like a wave, if you imagine, of sort of 3 lines coming together and then rising up. A rose clasp, so it looks like a rose with the gems set into it. 2 folded wings, sort of clasping the gems. A breathing dragon with the gems at either side, or the sun or a moon.
Did you say 2 wings?
Yeah, so you'd have 2 folded wings that are like over the face. So you imagine it's fully over like this, and they curve over and then go back down, and then you've got 1 gem at the center and 2 either side. But they are actual wings, like dragon's wings.
All right, I'm gonna do that because of my owl.
Beautiful. And this entire circlet will swirl with some magic when it is made. As the maker begins to hammer out your pattern and puts the gems in, does it swirl with fire, ice, mist, gold shine, blue shine, silver shine, or black shine? There should be a white shine in there too. I don't know why that's not a... Oh no, that's the mists. Yeah, cool. It does make sense. What does it shine with?
Let's give it a nice old... So many options.
Oh, well, the circlet has the least of options.
A fire shine.
Okay. So as you take this circlet and you place it down upon your head, a sort of flame moves across. And what color is that flame? Is it black, white, or a standard fire color?
Ooh, a white flame.
Mm-hmm. Everybody loves a good white flame. Yeah, a white flame swells across, and you realize that with a simple thought, you could make this circlet disappear and reappear. And Ziggy has chosen his arcane focus. And so we will move on to Bartholomew. Bartholomew, the Lagon siblings have done their very best to ignore you, and given that you pushed your way to the front, you find yourselves outside the Makers. And then your name is called. Bartholomew Moss, please come in. As you enter the room, that is not who you see. Standing there as one of the people who... where is she? As Vanya is waiting patiently by the side, is a elven woman. She's 6'3", 6'4", very tall. And she has very long, very straight black hair. And eyes of the brightest green. And behind her are staves. Various staves that have been made. Some are part of the way made, some are all the way made. But they certainly give you options. So the first option is wood or metal. And within that choice, you have copper, steel, black metal, mahogany, rosewood, ash, or bone.
Hold up.
Hold up. Do 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 do. Sorry, I thought we were in the backpacking, talking. Hold up. You want the options again? You're in chat. Sure. TikTok, motherfucker.
I will go for rosewood.
Rosewood. Excellent. Okay, and as you pick out the rosewood, she gotcha. A good wood. Imbues a lot of magic. Now, you will need to choose a gem for the clasp. And with this, she sort of opens up a sort of golden inlaid wooden box. And this contains 6 gems. These are ruby, emerald, diamond, sapphire, black pearl, or aquamarine. Oh, sorry, the poor topaz got left out. This is for quite a large setting. It's a large gem, we said here. Not like, but like, you know, a decent size.
I'll go sapphire.
Sapphire, okay. And would you like this sapphire set in between the twisted curls of the staff? So she shows you a staff where it's got sort of 2 parts and then it's got a twist in the center. As it sort of expands out to multiple tendrils and goes back. Would you like a rose clasp that looks like a rose that holds the gem in the top? Would you like a pair of dragon wings that are enfolded over the gem? Would you like a pair of folded wings that sort of go over both sides, like feather wings that go over both sides? Would you like a breathing dragon to breathe the gem out? Would you like the shape of a sun surrounding it? Perhaps a crescent moon around it? Or would you like a hook with the gem on a pendant encased in metal? Would you like it on Friday, Thursday, Tuesday, Monday, 11 a.m., 12 p.m.?
Oh,
What sort of time would you
I'm,
like it?
I'm just trying
No,
to
no,
picture it in my head.
That's fine. You picture away. No, Jamal, it's just bullshit coming out of my face. I'm good at swift talking bullshit. Oh, not me. Laura. Yeah, I think it is. It's would you like green eggs and ham? Would you like green eggs and ham, Samaya? Mr. Zilla. Bartholomew Moss.
Yes.
Good choice.
We've
got like 4 more options here. Come on, 5 more options.
I guess I'll take the dragon breathing it.
Okay.
So
what you imagine here, she shows you a staff that has a dragon sort of wrapped round the top of the staff. Its head is leant upwards, tilted upwards. Its jaws are open, and at its jaws is the gem. Happy?
I think so.
Okay. You will not be able to change your mind. Would you like a grip on it? So you can have the staff the same color all the way down, or you can have it bound with leather at the very center for holding. You can also have an alternate material, so one of the other metals, copper, steel, black metal, mahogany, rosewood, ash, or bone. You can have it twisted at the center, so it's sort of like corded. Or you can have it thin out as it goes down.
Yeah, I'd like it to thin out as it goes
Okay,
down.
so tapered is what they call this. Okay, and at the base, would you like it to spread out into a 3-prong where it could stand upon it? So you imagine it's like 3 little curved feet. Would you like it to end in a sort of sharpened tip? Would you like it to... they have retractable stands, so it's the same 3 feet, but it curls up into a clasp and curls back out. Would you like it to end in just a point? A round embellishment, basically a sphere on the end? Or would you like a rose on the other end?
You say a sharp point twice.
No. One is like, it's tapered to where it thins out, and the other is like a dagger. Like it's got a blade at the end.
Okay, yeah, no, the one where it just
Tapers to a point.
yeah.
Okay. And as you take this staff, as it is being crafted for you, it begins to swirl with magic within. No, sorry, it doesn't yet. We haven't got there. At the center of the rosewood, the magic must be imbued. At certain points, especially as the staff tapers out, and also at the very top as you look down, at the very bottom as you look in, there is a core to this wood. Is it a core of... is the core transparent, deep red, pale orange, pale yellow, pale blue, deep green, deep blue, black, or silver? So with your particular design, this is only visible at the very bottom with the thin tapered point. And if you wish to score at the end, you'll be given the option of scoring away some of the wood to have an inscription put on it. That's the only places where those 2 things will be visible.
So this is what the inside of the staff is going to be, right?
Indeed, yeah. And as you sort of look around and ask this, she explains that it's made, the very center of it is made from gemstones that are stretched along that allow the magic to travel.
Can the deep blue kind of be as close as of a color to the sapphire?
It's identical.
Okay, great. Then I'll pick that one.
It is sapphire in color. And we said they are gemstones. Okay. As you take this staff, it begins to swell with a certain magic aura to it. Does this swell with flames, with ice, with mist, with a gold shine, blue shine, silver shine, or black shine? And these flames can be black, white, or regular flame colored. It's up to you.
Yeah, where is this?
It will move up and down the whole staff. Later on, you will be able to control it. But right now, it will just be a sort of... It's not like all the time. It's just like occasional effect up and down the staff. It runs up and down the rosewood staff. And it's not like completely in your face. It's just like a tiny essence, you know?
What do you mean shine?
So you imagine it's almost like a mist or like an aura of light around it that just sort of swirls up and down.
Yeah, I'll go for the blue shine.
Okay. Would you like that pale blue or deep blue? Same as the sapphire or pale?
Yeah, the same, please.
Okay. And would you like to have anything inscribed at the end of the staff? The way this is done is that they will cut into the wood, revealing the blue sapphire underneath.
Yeah, I'd like it to have the initials BA.
Okay. Is that honors or science or... I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. That joke went over everyone other than Jamal's head, but that's fine. Yeah, so you have BA inscribed into it, and the staff is yours. Speaking of Mr. BA, we will move over at this point as you take the staff in hand to Cadmus Goldenskin. Cadmus, you stand before the lake and you have called forth an orb. This orb is an 8-point orb made of metal with glass in between. At the center of this, you chose to have a white flame, correct? Now, A
Was-
chain.
There was another option I would have liked, but
What
you
was
didn't
your other
present
option?
it.
Which
Um,
option was that?
Basically, I would have liked to have had like on the inside say stars or
Mm.
a galaxy. How's that for an option?
Stars I can do. It's like the darkness of night inside the orb, and inside the orb glitter small stars.
That's even better. I'll gladly
Um,
take that one.
Down the glass of the orb, you notice some veining, small tendrils of magical material running through. Would you like? Is this veining black, gold, silver, bronze, pale blue, or blood red?
Let's go with gold, just to
Okay.
match.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. And a chain comes from the very top of the orb, running downwards. The chain is approximately 10 inches in length. This chain can be gold, silver, black metal, copper, platinum, white, or made of flame itself. If this chain is made of flame, obviously you can't take it in. You can take it in hand, but certain other people, it won't burn them, but they would not naturally want to take it. Though it can
Would I
just
be
be
able to go
decoration.
for the option of black and gold metal, sort of like weaving the two together, sort of spiraling
Black and
as
gold
well?
interlinked chains.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can add that. Not a problem. And as you take this orb, it leaves a trail behind it as it floats. Is this trail made of fire, of ice, of black flame, white flame, mist? Or does it trail gold, silver, or copper dust?
Let's go with mist.
A white mist, yes.
Yeah, that's not like thick, but like fairly
It's only
thin.
thin. It's fairly translucent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. And as you take this orb and it does that, the orb sort of shakes in your hand, and as you let go, you realize that you could take it by the chain, or you can merely let it free. And when you let it free, it swirls around you, around your whole body, moving sort of a low, sort of glacial pace around you.
For the time being, at the very least, I'll let it float.
Okay.
Just
And-
watch it go slowly.
As you watch a couple of other people come up and take their choices, just in case I screwed up, did anybody not get an arcane focus? I'm pretty sure I did everyone to the fullest. Is that correct? Cool. Yeah, after a while, this excursion begins to take its end, and you are all able to come back. Where? Yes. What?
Sorry, I wanted to see if I could talk to the princess again after making
Not
my...
at this point in time. It's going to be a very... She's already gone. And she would have headed back to her own house. Which you will need to do. Back to the common room with you. As it's approximately 8 o'clock in the evening. And meals have been served in the common room for you all. So as you get up there, it's a hustle and a bustle. The Lagon siblings are nowhere to be seen. But the rest of you sort of wander in. And you see inside here is Cassandra and Bryson and Heta. And there's somebody else in your class whose name I can't think of. So screw them, they don't matter. Yeah, and that's the rest of you. And you're all milling about. And you've all got your new focuses. I wonder what the conversation will be like.
There is something you didn't say, James, that you said to me about.
Uh-huh.
Can I dismiss and reappear my stuff at will?
Every single one of you is able to make your arcane focus disappear and reappear at will. If you didn't, you both had your crystals set, so the only person who can float around them is Cadmus. But certainly, yes, you didn't get a base for your staff, did you? So you can't just let go of it. But you
Sorry.
can dismiss it and resummon it at will.
Sorry, you mentioned me for a second there.
Yeah,
Was it
you're the
that I
only
can't-
person. No, you're the only person who has an arcane focus that will float around them. Everybody else needs to.
Gotcha. Yeah,
you know.
sorry, I didn't quite catch that bit.
Cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll walk into the hall without a staff and without an arcane focus.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a hall, it's a common room, guys. There's a bunch of sofas and
Sorry,
chairs.
I'll
And-
walk into the common
yeah.
room without anything.
Cool, and as you do so, you see Ziggy sat on one chair. You see Cadmus sort of curled up in the corner, and Aveltria and Zas sitting on the other sofa at either ends of the sofa. Cassandra is lazing on a sofa of her own, and Heta and Bryson are engaged in a very close-knit conversation as they chat by the fire. Please take it away.
I'm just gonna... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
I'm just gonna talk to the entire room, saying, "So, does everyone want to show what they got today? Look at what I have." I'm just gonna point super proudly to the circlet around my head.
Yes, Ziggy, we saw. It's sort of right there.
Little
I
bit
know,
hard
right?
to
It's
miss,
really
huh?
cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
I'll hold out my wrist and appear the bracelet.
Wow, almost
Wow.
as cool as mine.
It's really pretty.
Seem upset, Bart.
Yeah, I didn't get an arcane focus today.
Oh no!
Give me a deception check, straight up.
I want to insight.
I don't think
I
Ziggy
believe
is
you.
capable of
Despite that as well.
inciting anyone, but
I believe you.
I will be
I
taking
wanna
his
insight that
deception.
as well.
I'm just going to take his deception check against your passive insights.
Yeah.
Well, then in that case, I will use my inspiration I got last episode to roll with advantage.
Wow. Committed to the lie.
That didn't help. That's a 12.
A 12. Okay. So Cadmus doesn't believe you at all. And Aveltria doesn't believe you at all. But I think Zas is taken in. Some odd reason. His passive insight's abysmal.
I'm
Yeah.
not listening.
No, there's that then. He's not listening to you, that's why. But if he was, he would believe you completely. The other two sort of know that you went on the trip and that nobody will be left without an arcane focus, but they don't know what you got.
Why didn't you get one?
And of course, Ziggy believes you completely.
Well, they said that, I just wasn't capable of producing one right now, so
Are you gonna get kicked out of school?
I think I'll just be the thing is that it's not the first time it's been kept back a year. I'm actually 40, so yeah, I just
Well, that's a real shame. I guess I can't hang around you anymore.
You know, Bartholomew, you really should stop teasing him like that.
who said that?
Bryson. Ziggy, of course he has an arcane focus. Come now. You went to get a staff, didn't you? Come on, let's see it.
I'll summon a chair, jump on the chair, ha ha, and summon my staff.
Whoa, you just made that right now?
Yes, this is mine.
Very flash, very fancy. Though, to be fair as well, Bryson, it's still funny. It doesn't get old.
It's just a bit mean after a while, isn't it?
It's all in jest, it's all in good fun, you know?
Who's being mean right here?
Nobody is, Ziggy. It's just a joke in ill humor. Don't worry about it. So,
You know-
Are you sick?
no.
What about you, Cadmus? I heard you were going for the orb, and it really did fascinate. What did you do?
Well, let's see if I can do this thing. Hang on. What I'd like to attempt to do is summon Corvus,
Mm-hmm.
and have Corvus perch on top of the orb as it just starts slowly.
Ooh,
orbiting
I will take a dex check for him.
for my
For
familiar.
Corvus, yeah.
What are we gonna say your familiar's dex is? Because I haven't got a character.
You don't have a slot for him? I can put it on your sheet if you want. You literally go to extras, manage extras, choose a category, familiar, and then you type in the word
Oh.
Raven, and you will find out that it's got... I'd have to add it, so let's do that. It has a dex score of 14, which is a +2 modifier.
Oh, fantastic!
For those of you who didn't know, you can all do that.
Right, so just
On your
a dex
D&D
check,
sheet,
yeah.
you just go to extras, and you can add manage extras, go to the familiar tab and type in what your familiar is. It will come up. Yeah.
Okay, dex check with a +2 on top of what I roll. So that's going to be a dirty 20.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. You just see as Corvus the Raven just perches perfectly on top of his orb as the chain of gold and black sort of it almost appears to be coming down from its feet. He lets out a sort of core of pride.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I will say, I definitely made the choice. It was right for me.
Are you all looking forward to using them tomorrow?
Yeah, that should be interesting since everything we've done with magic before now has been without.
Zaz, what about you?
I'll pull my face from my book. This is the crystal I received, and I have it wrapped. Like I'm not wearing it as a necklace. I have it wrapped around my hand like a rosary. And I just kind of have it dangling above the book. And it's like it has like the silvery mist and the water inside is kind of like it's calmly moving about. This is what I received. I'm trying to better understand it.
You know, you just got it. You could at least try and be a bit happier about it.
You know, if you really wanted to get to know it, you would go to the practice room and cast with it.
You mustn't do that before tomorrow. You could damage it. That's what they said. We've got to take the teacher's advice, no? I wouldn't want to damage mine. And Bryson,
the teacher's advice.
Bryson sort of holds up this delicate, translucent orb, veined with gold, with a sort of, it seems to have a permanent tornado inside it. And he's like literally stroking it like it's an animal. He's obviously a bit attached. I don't know.
They give these to a school full of students and expect nobody to use them in the 24 hours after they receive them.
I guess so.
At this moment, you notice that Cassandra has an orb floating around her body. Her orb is sort of black glass with black flame inside it, and it has like a purple mist that's coming out from behind it. And she sort of lazily places a hand on it and just lights the fire and dismisses it. Lights the fire and dismisses it. I've not been able to use it in the way they say, though, without the components.
It takes time.
What do you mean, like, without the components?
With many spells, they say that with a focus like this, you can stop using the material components for certain spells and start casting them through the power of your focus. But I haven't been able to do it yet.
Come on, Cadmus, you don't know that? What exactly do you read all day?
I haven't been reading about arcane focuses. I've been more so reading about my own magics and spells rather than something which just hadn't really graced my mind.
A header drops a book that weighs about 6.5 metric kilotons. It's this huge leather-bound book she was holding earlier. Just drops it into your lap. And it says, on the creation and use of arcane focuses.
How many pages is this roughly? At a glance?
6,000 or 7,000.
Okay, I might need a few weeks to decipher this, but thanks.
Enjoy.
Yes.
Happy reading.
It certainly will be happy reading.
You sort of open the book and you turn to the first chapter. And you see that it says, just having an arcane focus does not remove the need for the material components for the majority of spells. The art of channeling spells through an arcane focus may take time and learning. But in time, most wizards will learn to use an arcane focus as a means of channeling their magic, of directing it, and of enhancing it. Certain spells cannot have their shapes or their their forms altered without the power of an arcane focus. But who would focus, for example, Snellux Snowball's storm? The magic needing ice itself. Who could use a piece of ice to focus a spell in a fiery blaze? But with the power of an arcane focus comes this ability. And over time, spells can be imbued within the arcane focus itself. And this was first discovered by Archmage Elecantrius, who, back in the year 3700 BC, which we're going to use as a thing now. It's minus 3700 BC years. He wandered around his castle day after day for a year, protecting it with wards. After doing this, whenever he walked upon the castle's grounds holding his staff, the magic remained in place forever. And thus, learned magic was noticed.
So what I'm reading from this introductory part is essentially that focuses have a tremendous amount of potential and a lot of applications, and there's a lot of complexity to them.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Bryson, reading over your shoulder, just says, "Perhaps you might attend the class tomorrow and see exactly what is explained of that book before you go reading the whole thing for no reason."
Well, there's only so much reading I can do in one night. Besides, I have a few bits of magic I want to practice anyway for turning in.
Well, it's too late for me, and the practice rooms are closed now, so I'm going to bed, he says, and it's kind of already 10 o'clock at night, and you have a lesson at 9 o'clock in the morning on arcane focuses.
Well, fortunately, I don't need the practice rooms for what I'm looking to do. So,
what are you looking to do?
I would like to see if. So basically, the short and long of what I'm looking to cast is Mage Armor.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a
But I'm
focus?
looking to see if I can, if casting it in the presence of my focus sort of changes anything about the magic just feels a bit different.
You can attempt to cast it on your arcane focus instead of on your focusing crystal, though it's a risk.
I won't cast it on the focus itself then. I'll just see if by casting it not normally for myself, if that would change anything.
Give me an intelligence check.
Intelligence check.
Beat my roll.
And that one.
Yeah, no, you don't notice anything different about it at all. In the slightest. And yeah, no matter how many times you cast it, nothing seems to change. What about you, Bartholomew? What did you want to do?
I was just going to say to everyone, you know, I don't want to brag, but I was originally going to go for a black metal, but a certain princess, not naming names, Beatrice, the princess, who also goes to this school, who also spent a long time talking to me and only bumped me, she convinced me otherwise.
You pestered a princess?
She seemed to be having a good time talking to me. A lot better than a couple of other brother and sisters I could mention.
They're not there.
Well, I'll say it in hopes that they'll hear it in their rooms.
No, as in they're in their estates. Like.
Oh, still.
Yeah, you can say it anyway. And Hedda will let out a little snigger anyway.
Why is that funny?
I hear that every time that... I don't know why she's got that voice. I hear that every time that the Lagon siblings meet Princess Julston, they are somewhat upstaged. Embarrassed, you could say. Made to look a little less glamorous than they used to be. I certainly think it's great that they get put in their place once in a while.
Well, I think they're pretty glamorous.
Yes, but Ziggy, you thought Bart was 40 years old. I love how many times Matt just breaks character his own stupidity.
Oh
That's Ziggy. It's great.
Well, people being upstaged is quite a quite an entertaining thing, but do any of us really even care for, well, any of them? I mean, Bart, in your case, yeah, you seem to have taken a liking
Matthias
to her, but
is not the worst of men, I don't think. He's just... His sister encourages him. Oh! And she sort of looks over and she points to Zass's book, which he is reading, which is on fire. At least it is to her eyes. Zass, give me an investigation check, please. That's a hell of a DC.
24.
Okay. Yeah, you sort of... You look at the flame and you're like... Really? And you turn immediately over to Cassandra, who is trying to make an illusion of flames on your book. Come on. Get
Closer.
involved. Lighten up. What are you reading anyway?
I'm going over my notes from the past week.
Oh. What? Are they interesting? Did you take any notes on me or the Lagon siblings?
Notes for class.
Oh, Sass. Come on, it's a new week. And didn't you master all of that stuff anyway last week? I thought you got it all
I did
down.
not.
No?
No.
What did you not get?
There are a few things, such as suggestion.
Suggestion. Wow. Not sure I'd want to get that already, but look, you ain't gonna pick up magic by reading about it. You gotta practice. And maybe another lesson will help. Look, if you're struggling, it's too late tonight, but how about after class tomorrow? Maybe we can all go down to the practice rooms and we can see if we can teach each other anything that anybody else missed. Instead of spending our night with our heads in a book, let's relax and then do some practical practice tomorrow and really get those spells down.
I'm fine with that. If the training halls weren't closed, I'd be there already.
Sometimes it's better to get a good night's sleep. Mind work, you know? Anyway,
I understand that perhaps my ways of doing things are maybe adversive to others. However, unfortunately, my people don't live as long.
Yeah, but you're not running out of time today. What's a life if you don't have some fun every now and again? Fun's important too. It's what makes life worth living. Right, Bart?
I'm gonna walk over to Zess, minor conjuration, a piece of paper with a smiley face drawn on it, and hold it in front of Zess's face.
And
What does it say?
it's just a smiley face. Be nice to see one on your face sometime. And Cassandra will burn the paper with a quick draw of her finger. I'm going to bed. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Good night.
And she takes her arcane focus, which is a black glass crystal ball, and she drops it as if it's gonna smash on the floor. And as it gets right next to the floor, it sort of begins to swell lazily up her body. And yet again, she seems to have understood a few things more innately than the rest of you. But alas, such is it. And does anybody want to do anything else this evening?
I'm
think
gonna
Go
Go
on,
ahead.
Siggy.
I was gonna say so we can't actually use our focuses yet.
Not necessarily, no. You might be able to channel a spell through them if you get really lucky, but there's also risks that you can either screw up the spell you're learning or screw up the what's it called? The actual orb itself.
So like, I can attempt to cast a spell though.
You can. It needs to be a spell that is castable through an arcane focus, and that does something different when done so, if you do notice any difference, though.
Alright. Then never mind.
That's all right. I mean, we'll find out in the morning, as you will have a lesson. So,
Yes.
Hey.
should have had this ready last night, but before the session. But this was kind of next week's. We're gonna encroach into next week's session, as as you all get up in the morning, you are able to head down to your lesson in the morning, and your lesson in the morning will be with a gentleman that Zas and Veltria immediately recognize as Okar. You haven't had a lesson with him before. None of you have. He looks down at you. He floats upon a disc, about 20 or 30 foot up in the air above the auditorium. Yes, Bart?
I'm assuming
He's a gnome.
Okar is a gnome, yeah.
And he gestures,
Hello, friend.
and 3 orbs swirl around his head. 2 of them disappear, and he's left with just the one, which falls down in front of him. He holds it up in front of you, one orb. And then you'll see that a crystal comes into his other hand. An arcane focus is a tool, but it is also a part of ourselves. We must first put our essence into it and bond with it before we start trying to apply that to our magic. Today, I have a simple task for all of you. And he will make a gesture with his hand, and written on the table is the ritual spell Identify. Today we will be doing a ritual. However, instead of the material components that are mentioned, we will use our arcane focus. But before we do so, we're going to take a little moment for each of you to become acquainted with your arcane focus in a particular way. So, to do this, you will need a new spell. So please, all of you, take out your quills and pick up the scroll that will arrive shortly on your desk. And each of you will be able to get a certain get a scroll onto your desk. Just bear with me a second, and I will tell you the exact name of said scroll. What's it called? Oh, is another one still? So it is. Okay. So this spell is called Alana's Library Rats. So you can just type in the word library and you will find it. And each of you will be able to write this scroll into your spellbook. You may take longer or shorter about this, but you will all succeed eventually. However, this spell requires a wooden token depicting a little mouse. And at this moment, the Okar, the teacher, explains to you all that you must now hold up your arcane focus in your left hand. And with your right hand, just simply take a small bit of magic that you are capable of doing and direct it at your orb or your crystal or whatever your magic is. He suggests that perhaps you either grip it with Mage Hand or attempt to send it a message or make a light emanate from it. But this cannot be a spell you cast with a manufactured piece of gear. It has to be something that comes from you. You may also use prestidigitation on it, or all manner of other spells. I come first to Bart.
Yeah, I'll Mage Hand.
Yep, okay, so as you use Mage Hand to take a grip of your staff, is that correct? He now explains to you that you will sort of feel the magic leaving you and entering your staff. And then the magic will congeal within the staff. I need you to give me an Arcana check, please.
The 19.
19, fantastic. You are able to expend all of your first level spell slots and put them all in your staff. Okar explains that you could theoretically, leave this till tomorrow. Only once. Only over the course of a night may you do this once. You couldn't store more into it or stack them up over multiple days, because you can't put any more magic in the following day. But you can put a certain amount of your magic within a staff, and the following day withdraw that magic back. Or the following minute. And, Bart, I'll take a Arcana check again, please.
So 17.
As you do this, the swirling mist light around your staff leaves the staff and swirls around you briefly. As your staff glows fiercely with that blue that was at the center of the staff, you see it now radiate through the wood. You regain all your first level spell slots. But if you imagine if you had done this the night before, you could have stored all 4 slots in there, and the following day you would be able to withdraw them. For mechanics' sake, you can always do this with any spell level up to the one below your highest available. So if you had access to level 3 spell slots, you could do level 1 or level 2 spell slots. Spend them today to have them available tomorrow. I will turn to Aveltria. Aveltria, your wrist crystal. What cantrip are you casting upon it?
Firebolt.
Firebolt? Well, why would you not have any non-offensive ones?
Nope.
Excellent. Well, that's going to sting a little bit. But you're quite used to it. And yeah, as the flames sort of pop into it, it does warm up briefly, but the crystal quickly absorbs it. Give me an Arcana check, please.
21.
Oh, look at you guys go. Yeah, you are also able to store your first level spell slots in there. As Okara is going around the class, watching each of you at a time. He nods. Well, that's very good. Now see if you can take the energy back. Now, yours was swirling with a black flame, is that correct?
Black flame in the center, silvery light on the outside.
Silvery light, yeah. So the silvery light at this point is swirling much more actively around your arcane focus. See if you can recall it yourself. Give me another Arcana check, please.
14.
14. Oh, right on the DC. Yeah, you are able to recall the mist back to you, at which point it leaves your arcane focus and returns to you. And you hear a little from Heta, who is sat a little further back in the class today, a little closer to you. And it will be her up next, as Heta takes out her... Excuse me, where did my notes go? Excuse me? What have I done? That's not what I wanted. Come back. Apologies. I currently can't remember where Heta was. Heta was crystalling with you guys. Yes, she was. And you see a necklace, sort of on a chain. The crystal sort of comes out from there, and the necklace almost floats before her, as she is casting Gust upon it. And after a little while, oh, look at her go! A gold mist swells around it. She focuses. And rolls a nat 1. At this moment, the mist sort of soaks into the crystal. And Okar looks up, and the one problem is, if you store your magic within your focus and you are unable to retrieve it quickly enough, it'll dissipate. Here. And he sort of gestures with a hand, and a mana potion floats up towards her, which she will be able to drink. Zas, you are up next.
Yes.
What cantrip were you casting upon your arcane focus?
Druidcraft.
Oh, Druidcraft, of course. All my wizards have that these days. That's not from an item, though, is it? That's from the Strixhaven initiative thing. Yeah. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as you're casting Druidcraft upon it, please give me an Arcana check. I rolled 3 nat 20s with that dice.
Okay. 23.
23, great. And yeah, you are able to store your magic within it as the mists begin to congeal more thickly around your rosary. As you feel the magic leave you and your first level spell slots disappear. you notice something else. That this isn't actually that dissimilar to the transference of life that you did with the plants for Heta. But you're transferring magical energy instead of life energy. Please give me an extraction roll with advantage.
Georgie 20.
Beautiful, that's plenty. As you do this, he sort of nods to you. Excellent. Well done, Zess. Ziggy. Ziggy, what cantrip were you casting upon your...
I'm gonna cast Dark Mist.
That's a cantrip these days?
Yep. Oh, it's a ritual, actually. I don't think I can do that.
No,
It is a
you
cantrip,
cannot. It shouldn't be a cantrip.
Alright.
You've got a cantripped ritual called Darkness.
Yes, but I don't know.
No, that's... Do you mean Dark Mist?
Dark Mist? Yeah. That's what I said.
How did you get that? What is that? Why is it not in capital letters? Oh, God. Whose shitty homebrew brought that in? A ritual cantrip.
Oh, no.
He's got a ritual cantrip called Dark Mist with no capital letters. Anyway, yeah, perhaps you might opt for Mage Hand or
Or
Minor
I can
Illusion.
do this. I'm gonna cast Light on it.
Excellent. And as a light begins to emanate from your circuit above you, you notice that the flames begin to congeal slightly. Please give me an Arcana check. Oh my god, my dice just won't stop rolling. Down, boy.
So 15.
Excellent. And you manage to get rid of all your first level spell slots as the flames sort of... At this moment, you guys, it looks like he's got a crown of flames on his head. The reason why I would have taken a circlet. What colour were your flames? They're white, right?
White. Yep, white.
Sick. That's awesome. And the teacher looks at you. Oh my, that's quite the showy arcane focus you have there. Please, see if you can extract the magic back again, Ziggy. Give me that second Arcana check, please. Ooh, give me that second Arcana check, please.
24.
Yeah, I got a 9. Yeah, you are able to pull this magic back into yourselves. The flames sort of move down from the crown, almost sheet over your face, and then writhe into you. Obviously, they are not hot in the slightest. And you are able to complete this quest, mission, goal. What's the word I'm looking for? Task. There's the word I was looking for.
Request?
No, task. Cadmus. What cantrip were you casting upon your orb? Cadmus? Are you paying attention in my class?
Sorry, I didn't realise you said me.
Yeah, Cadmus, pay attention! I said, what cantrip are you casting upon your cantrip? Upon your arcane focus, crystal, orb.
I will be,
I got it right the first time.
Orb, yeah.
You weren't paying
I'll be
attention.
casting prestidigitation in
Excellent.
the
And
attempt
what is
to
your
warm things up slightly.
Oh, you're warming it up slightly. I like it.
Yeah.
As you warm it, you see the stars begin to swell within more. As the mist congeals more thickly upon it, please give me your Arcana check.
Arcana is
That's my
a 20.
5th nat 20 today.
Not a nat 20. Just
No,
a
that's my 5th nat 20 with this dice. But 20 meets it, so 20 beats it.
Oh.
And you are able to store your magic within your orb, and you see that these mists are almost so thick over it you can barely see the galaxy underneath.
Oh.
Please, see what you can draw the magic back into yourself.
How would I go about doing that then?
You give me a second Arcana check. Is anybody here not proficient in Arcana?
18.
Did anybody manage to not make themselves proficient on their character sheet? I'm just really curious. Because I've been making you guys roll Arcana checks to learn spells since day 1. I just started thinking if somebody's just sat there with like disadvantage. Yeah, 18's plenty. I've got an 8. I think you have to take it. I think it's just like a given as a wizard school initiative, but you never know.
Yeah.
Someone might have just thought, nah, not the studying type. Yeah, that's plenty. You pull the magic back into yourself, and unlike Heta, who is the only person in the class to fail, you are able to pull the magic back into yourself. From now on, you will all have the mechanical ability to store your level 1 spell slots inside your arcane focus overnight and draw them back the following day. Obviously, on top of your actual getting them back from a long rest, so you would effectively double up on your level 1 spell slots the following day. Just a heads up, you can store all of your level 1 spells. You won't be able to store all of your level 2 spells on your level 3, or all of your level 3 spells on your level 4. It's to do with your proficiency modifier. So yeah, it won't ever be like as strong as it is right now. It's at its biggest strength right now. Actually, I'm saying all, but how many level 1 spell slots do you guys have?
4.
Or
Yeah, no, okay, fair enough. No, that's not going to store all. That's going to store 3, I think, at this point. Your proficiency modifier is 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it's your proficiency modifier plus 1 spell slots. So yes, you can only store 2 level 1 spell slots plus 1, so that's 3. But you'll be able to store them overnight and withdraw them back the following day to have a total of 7 the following day. Yes, Bart, I can see your stroke on your microphone.
as Okar moves on to the next teacher. Psst, Cadmus.
Next student, you mean, yeah?
At that
Yeah,
thing.
cool. Go on. Cadmus.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, Bart.
What's up with you today?
What do you mean, what's up with me?
You're not paying attention. Aren't you a bookworm? Aren't you a nerd?
How loud did you say that?
I'm whispering.
Oh,
I'll just shake my head.
Shake your head at yourself. You're the one that got the teacher to yell at you. Do it again.
you sit behind Ziggy, is that correct? Cadmus is 2 seats over to your left. I think Bryson's heard this. At this point, you see that on your desk, Bart, a little flag appears that says "geek" on it and just waves around. And Okar turns around and he sees it instantly, and he will just firebolt it. A blast of flame comes out of his hand towards it. I will not tolerate fooling around in my class. You do understand that these arcane focuses we give you are expensive. Take a lot of craftsmanship, and they will and can break. You must focus on learning. I don't know who created that stupid flag. If you find out, you will be in trouble. Funny, is it, Ziggy?
Yes.
Great. That accent just dissipates halfway through. He looks at you. Well, some of us have smaller minds than others. Now, on to our next lesson. And something that is incredibly important. You have all learned to dismiss your arcane focus, have you not, and recall it. This should come naturally to most wizards. Ziggy, demonstrate for me.
What do you need me to do?
Make your circle disappear and recall it again. It should take but a thought.
Poof, it disappeared.
Fantastic. Can you get it back again?
Poof, it's back.
As you summon it back, you know. Good. That's nice and easy. But now let's see if you can change the way it looks. At least to other people's eyes. Let's say, for example, you were on an important mission for the Academy to rescue a poor damsel in distress from the terrible confinement she had in an evil wizard's castle. Well, perhaps you were taken in yourself as a captor. You would want to hide that you have a staff. But making it disappear is not enough. They can force you to bring it back. But what if they can't detect it? What if it looks different? Here, see? And as these 3 orbs return to going round his head, he is able to then turn one to a crystal. And then one to a crown upon his head. But that takes a bit more skill. Right now, all he'd like you to do is change the colour of the mist or swirl surrounding your arcane focus. We'll go back the other way and we'll start with Cadmus. Cadmus Golden Skin, are you paying attention?
Yeah.
Good.
So,
Now, what I would like you to do is focus on your orb. Please put your hand upon it. And I want you to think of the mist changing colour. And concentrate deeply. And you should feel it begin to vibrate. When it begins to vibrate, try and make the change. Please, give me 2 Arcana checks.
2 Arcana checks.
The first is to see if it vibrates.
14.
That's a 14. That's a fail. Sorry, you're unable to do it.
Okay.
And we move down the line. Zas. That's your first. As you take your crystal, your rosary, the mist swirling around it is currently white, correct?
Yeah,
Mist
silver
coloured, yeah,
colored.
mist coloured.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Are you able to change it to another color? Are you able to make at least the rosary vibrate? Let's have an Arcana check for me, please.
Ooh, natural 2025.
Yes, you are. You feel your rosary beads begin to vibrate. And what color do you picture the mist turning to?
A pale green.
Pale green. Excellent. And yeah, give me a second Arcana check and see if you can execute that.
Ooh, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Excellent. As you focus, the mist turns to green, and then a couple of seconds later, it turns back. Whilst doing it is impressive for a first try, maintaining it requires a lot of concentration. You may find that certain spells change the color of your mist automatically. Let me show you an example. And excellent work there, Zaz. Here, I have something for you. And he will hand you a potion of mana as a reward. And he begins to, as he takes out his crystal, you see that he has his own crystal. And at this point, you notice that it is black and it is veined with gold. And it has a blue mist surrounding it. And he begins to cast a spell. Most of you won't have seen this spell before, but you notice that a pair of translucent wings come out of his back. And the translucent wings have a golden light to them. And you notice that his arcane focus is also swirling with gold light. Normally, the spell Fly would require a feather to cast, but he's cast it through his arcane focus, and it has instead changed the colour of his mist. As soon as the wings dissipate, the mist changes. It's a sign for you, as casters, if you notice, because a lot of wizards will use arcane focuses, not get a feather out, to see who is concentrating on a spell and whether they can be disrupted. Coming down the line, we come to Ziggy. Ziggy, as you focus on the flames on your, the white flames on your crown. You want to change the colour of them. Please give me your first Arcana check to see if you can connect with those flames as they rise to the forefront. That crown of flame is upon your head again. I'm gonna say you ain't got a fucking clue. Go on, go.
Inspiration to re-roll that. 23.
Perfect, you pass. And as you feel it begin to vibrate, as an illusionist, you spend a lot of time playing with colour, making things appear differently to how they are. Please give me your second Arcana check with advantage. And what colour do you picture the flame changing to?
I'm gonna try and make it look like the whoever it was that made the copper one.
The bronze one, yeah.
That was with me. Yeah, the bronze one. I'm gonna make it look like that because no one would ever think something like this is special.
Please give me your Arcana check with advantage. I'll need helping you.
No, didn't help.
Terrible. Yeah, no. Unfortunately, it just stops vibrating. And we come down the line to Bartholomew. Bartholomew, as you take your staff, the blue mist rises up and down it. Please give me your first Arcana check to see if you can get in touch with these mists.
It was a shine.
Shine? Yeah, it is. It is a shine. Sorry. Just I'm moving between different people, and people have flames and mists and everything. I can remember the colours, all right? Come on, give me some credit.
That's a 23.
23 as a pass. You begin to feel the whole staff vibrate as the blue shine sort of comes to the forefront. It's now the whole way up the staff. Let's see if you can change the colours.
It's a 16.
That's a fail, unfortunately. You are unable to make it change colour. But you feel something. You were close. You feel something that, Zas, perhaps you felt as well. Perhaps in time, you maybe could connect the spell to the staff in some way. You didn't cast any spells at this point, but do you remember when you were casting your cantrip on your focus? Perhaps there is a way to make it emanate from your focus. Usually in a case of like light, for example. But also, in a couple of other senses. Prestidigitation, I think one of you cast, or Druidcraft? Druidcraft. That puff of wind, or the sort of the leaves that you could produce, you could make that come from your arcane focus. In a mechanical standpoint, later on, maybe you could put a different spell emanating from your focus to allow it to do certain other things. Perhaps shield, for example. Some thoughts for you. And finally, we come to Aveltria. Aveltria, as you sort of look at your wrist crystal, the swirling mist comes to the forefront. Please let me see if you can connect with it.
The dirty 20 on the first.
That is a success. And as you begin to feel this wristing vibrate, remind me the color of the original mist?
Silver light.
Silver light, that's the one. As you focus on this silver light, what color do you attempt to make it change to?
Gold.
Gold. I like it. Let's see what you can do.
Oh, 26.
26. That's, not only do you manage to get it to change to gold, but you get to manage to swirl all the way round the bracelet. You maintain concentration on this for 7 or 8 seconds. And the car lets out a small clap. Excellent. Here. And he will gesture, and a potion of mana will be floated up to you. Excellent. Well, thank you for your patience today, students. But I do remind you, no messing about in class, please. Now be on your way, and I'll see you again next week.
Bye.
As we walk out, I'm going to walk next to Cadmus. Please get yelled at by teachers again.
In response to that, I'm gonna cast a spell. I'm gonna cast Alter Self on myself. And basically, I'll just want to make myself look like Bart, but even dorkier. Just as my response to that.
Bryson looks sheepishly over to both of you and... Geek.
What?
The greatest geek.
He just geeks at you and then leaves. And at that point...
really said that? Wow.
Yeah, at that point, we will bring the session to an end, I'm afraid. I know it's a little bit early, but I'm really struggling today. And we will come to our time on a tradition of MVPs. So, I come first to Matt. Matt, your MVP for the session, please.
Oof. I don't know. I'm using my brain power right now.
Okay, well, we'll move on.
No, actually, no.
Go on.
No, I got it. Jamal accidentally, not purposely, getting yelled at by a teacher, and then Josh completely playing into it was that was pretty good.
You did quite well with that. I like that. Kira.
I like all the customization options of Arcane Focuses. That was pretty cool. I was sitting there thinking like, oh wow, well, I have a long time to think about what I wanted to look like, and I was like, I would really customize it for how Zaz would be, like the water is for life, but then like the bone is for death to symbolize both, just the cycle of both. Yeah, I like the customization option of Arcane Focuses.
Well, they're there for a reason. We will mention more of those in a second. Jamal.
I'm gonna have to go back to the first bit where we was going towards the lake, and three coats and still fucking freezing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's cold there.
Considering that the other options that were mentioned before were the ones I had in mind, I thought I'd go with a different one then.
Yep. Josh.
Meeting the princess was really fun. I really hope to meet her again.
Yeah, you will.
But probably Cadmus thinking that Bart cares about being called a dog. He couldn't care less.
Oh, that makes sense. And Eveltria. I was so close. And Alora. Eveltria Laura is what I've got written down on the top of my sheet so I don't forget it. And I actually went to say Eveltria Laura. Alora, you're MVP for this week.
I feel bad for the poor princess who thinks that everybody's hanging on to her every word, but when a fanboy comes around, she thinks that's actually better.
Yeah, no, it
Like,
was more a
normal
case of...
conversation.
It wasn't that, it was that he ignored protocols of, like, waiting in line and being the next person, and he just walked up to her. That was what made her happy of it. Yes, certainly, he's no more exciting.
The other would be, I was held back a few years, I'm actually 40.
Yeah, that was great. And Siggy going, really? I don't think we can hang out anymore. I thought that was brilliant. Yeah, so I've got a couple. I really liked, I mean, Josh and I spoke about this in the break, that Zass's Arcane Focus was so far away from what we expected. And then we were like, and what would you like it said? And he was like, bone. And we were like, ah, there we go. That was a really good moment. But as you said, you know, there's a lot of symbolism in there, which I like. And yeah, I like that we went for such different options. So over the next few weeks, I don't know how long it's going to take, our lovely graphics lady will be producing the artwork of your arcane focuses and then putting them on your character art.
What?
Focus is or focus I?
Focus eye, sure. So what you've created will be added to your character art and sent back to you. Jamal, I'm pretty sure she's going to kill me for putting a galaxy inside a crystal ball. I think she might have to simplify that. But in general, yes. That is why the options were... they had to be options as opposed to, like, tell me what your arcane focus looks like.
To be fair.
Yeah, it suits you.
But to be fair, I do think it would just be possible to take a picture of Andromeda or something and just put it in there. I think that might just be doable.
I don't know how art works. But yes, Dogman will be taking the arcane focus descriptions you've given and putting them into your character art. And as I said, I don't know how long they're going to take, but they will happen at some point. Hopefully before chapter 2 really is probably what we're aiming for, as opposed to getting them done within this chapter, because, well, she has a lot of work on her hands. But yeah, that's my little surprise to end the session, and with that, I think we will end there. So, without further ado, let's have a brief little gander and see if we're raiding. And we're not raiding. So, if you guys would like to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Until next class.
Thanks.
We shall see you soon.
Next.
Sweet dreams. Thanks.